Alright, let's continue Pillars of Eternity. We're getting pretty close to the end, maybe another 10 hours or so. I did do some checking. I am done with this dungeon I'm in. The one thing that's left to do is something I can't do because I killed the Vithrak. The Vithrak had the Soul Harvester. So if I was gonna enchant my weapon that I got in here with the Soul Harvester, I would have had to have killed the guy, and I didn't. I let him go home. So we're done in this dungeon, and we're gonna head on to Twin Elms area. Actually, we have to head to another area before we head to Twin Elms. The place that unlocks being able to go to Twin Elms, I assume. Alright, load anytime now, Pillars. Come on, you can do it. The initial load is always slow. Come on. You can do it. There we are. So yeah, the quest for right here, where you use a you take the soul vessel. I can't do that because it wasn't a quest. It was just to buff up the weapon. So we're done here. Gonna head out. Alright, so we're done in Stormwall Gorge. Really, we have a quest for Craighold Bluffs, but I went there and I think it's doable, but I have to be careful about pulls and stuff like that. So we're going to come back to that later. We're going to work on the story stuff, which takes place in Twin Elms. So I think we have to head to Elmshore. So because these are all grayed out, we can't get there. I also found out we do get to go back here after we visit Twin Elms, so I'll be able to craft my sword. I thought I was screwed in not being able to craft. Your party is considered high level for the content in Elmshore. If you would like, the critical path can be increased in difficulty to give you more of a challenge. Just standard's fine. I have no problems. I think this is story content. I have no problem. I've been over-leveled the story most of the game. The story content's been the main quest content has been really easy. It's some of the other endgame quests that have still been tough. Alright, so we got a whole area. Let's clear out the Fog of War.
Audra Arch, dead ahead.
She said dead. Ogre. Bunch of ogres. Holy crap, a crap ton of ogres. And an ogre matron. I wonder if this is one of those special quests. Let's do that. Do that. Turn him into Stragar. Knock him down. Do that. This might be one of those bounty fights, possibly. Why has this guy still not been able to do anything? He has literally not done anything the entire fight. He's not used one of his abilities. Sorry about the dog barking. Jesus, it just never ends. I'm never allowed to do anything.
What?
Attack! Why is nobody attacking? Kill something! I really don't understand this game sometimes. It's like everybody's stunned or nobody's doing anything. And now I have more people dead.
Got him. Let's go. Following you.
See, it's like nobody's attacking anything. It's really annoying. Some of the high-level fights have been like this. I'm just perma-stunned or perma-locked down or whatever.
Following your... Roll. Stand still.
Yeah, I'm glad I chose standard, if this is considered standard. This has to be a bounty mission, though. Should be able to win mostly because of my fighters strong as hell. This is the same problem I had with that one place northeast of my stronghold, though. One or two of them I could do, but they sent like 10 guys at me, and my guys were constantly perma-stunned, which meant instant death. Let's see. Not even a bounty? That was just a regular. That couldn't have been a regular. Not even a bounty, I don't think. Let me see. That wasn't even a bounty. That fight was ridiculous. I'm gonna have to rest now. That fight was utter ridiculousness, and it wasn't even a bounty. Glad I chose the standard. Okay, so there's a cave here. We'll come back to that once we clear out this zone's fog of war. Looks like water that can't be passed. Bridge across to the Twin Elms area, most like.
Adra Arch, dead ahead.
You've said that twice now. I've yet to see an Adra Arch. This guy is always never doing anything. And I don't understand why. He's always stunned. He's always feared. He's always paralyzed. He's always stuck. He's always some reason that he never fights. And he always somehow gets aggro on everything. It's kind of annoying to have in my party. If I didn't have a quest related to him, I wouldn't even bother.
Can't get a good shot.
And look, surprise, surprise, he's dominated again. He's always dominated.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, and now that bug's happening where the circle under my character isn't active. So let me just save and reload, and that'll fix that. Sorry about the delay. Okay. And now the circle's working again. It's a weird bug. That happened to me yesterday, too. It's a fine brigandine, some money. We haven't crossed either the bridges or the stone bridge there. We're still exploring. Because we have to unlock the ability to go to those Twin Elms places. You guys keep attacking him. You guys keep attacking him. Let's do a Flames of Devotion and a knockdown on the Greater Earthquake. Let's spawn some skellies.
They're cutting us down! Gotcha!
This one's the greatest danger, so do that one. Let's knock him down as well. Send out a wounding shot.
Let's go.
Oh, shocked. He's stunned, as always. I am shocked and appalled.
Sure.
Let's see. A fine warhammer. Some boots. Boots might be good. And a campfire, thank God, the way these fights are going. Okay, so who does not have boots? Sagani does not have boots. Where did I put said boots? So, increases her defense. Alright, sounds good. Okay, so let's head north.
Words made on
Why is he getting slaughtered all the time? Everybody aggro's on him. It's really getting annoying. I'm not going to be able to keep him in my party if this keeps happening. He's not even attacking. He's stuck. Jesus, this guy. It's like everybody has a target to stun him or paralyze him or shock him. And he's dead. Big shot. He's dead because he's terrible.
Seen the little guy dead.
Yeah.
What's wrong with him now? Dominate, baby. Everything is domination, stuck, paralyzed. That's what all these fights are now.
They're closing in on us. Dead.
Don't even slow it. Wait.
Let's get it.
As soon as I'm done with this quest, with the quest for him, he's gone. He's back to the stronghold. I don't like him at all. He's always useless every time.
Huh?
Okay. So let's cut this path in the middle.
Let's go.
See, they just went straight for him. I don't understand it.
Get up. Harabius?
Sure.
Okay, let's use another campfire. All because of Haravis. Everybody else is fine, but he dies like a wet paper towel.
Yeah?
How about you join the group, you stupid idiot?
Huh?
You know what? I'm putting him below. No, Durance is ranged.
Hmm.
Clear out the fog of war. Alright, so Fog of War's cleared out. I have this Adra Arch point of interest, Elmshore Cave, Adra Pillars, and then I have the bridges. So let's go to the Elmshore Cave, which we're close by. Let's go check out the cave.
Keeping quiet.
Yes?
Huh?
Oh, bears. Let's save our game. Bears can be tough, especially if there's... I'm sure they're going to throw 20 of them at them. We attack 1, 20 come running. Ogre Matron.
Let's go!
Ogre Druid, Ogre Matron, Ogre Matron. Let's knock the bear down. I didn't tell him to do that. Interesting.
Hey.
Druid, Matron, Matron. Oh, that is definitely a bounty battle.
Something?
Let's knock. Let's Flames of Devotion the Matron. Knock the Druid down. Let's do bouncing missiles to the Matron. Let's do... He's already doing that. Let's...
Hey. The Paru Peons seek! Oh, almost had it. Let me try.
Moe Ixi Nana.
Constant battle to try and keep him alive. Because he's terrible.
Proactive.
The Paru.
Constant battle to try and keep him alive continues.
Following your lead. Roar. Turn.
This is definitely a bounty fight, so let's see. Let's knock Nowrun the Wise down. Let's do a... Let's do that. A little endurance regen. That should be good. That's right, gentlemen. Knock him down. Kill.
Laying low.
Got the head. The bones have been snapped and crushed by massive teeth.
I can do that. As requested.
A belt. And more boots. Let's take a look. Okay, for one, of Constitution goes straight to him. Not even a question. Oh, this is tailor-made for him. Since he's always getting slaughtered. Let's just bank those. That should definitely help him survive. Plus, he's leveled up. Oh, please. Make him usable. Whatever. Let's do athletics. He needs something. Okay. Spell mastery. Free use of that spell once per encounter. And let's do insect. Well, wait. Wood skin. Hell yeah. Defense has been somewhat of an issue of late, so definitely. Yeah, let's do that. That looks good. Well, let's see what this is. Let's still, well, No, let's do Fearless. Because that's stuff like that is becoming more of an issue of late. Alright, so we're done here. Let's go to the Adra Arch next. This should be for Sagani's quest. It's funny how my Drake got, like, petrified, and he's just staying there. The game never cleared him from the zone cache or whatever. Even when I had I summoned my second Drake, would normally make this one go away. It's just funny. The Adra Arch looms in front of you, just as you saw it through Persoc's eyes. Sagani turns, watching the trees for movement. As the arch's shadows falls over you, the wooded shore fades into a different scene. You're standing in another forest, blackened. Bare trunks claw their way out of the soil and keep a solemn vigil over the young trees and tender shrubs. You move slowly through the woods and the ruins scattered throughout them. Stone pillars and broken arches show the bones of some destroyed building. Between and amidst it all are elves and Orlons, their faces painted and their bows drawn. Burnt trees, crumbling ruins. Where is this? I'm glad you don't recognize it. That suggests you haven't been lurking around ruins where you don't belong. Hervase eyes you intently with a wagged finger, feigned lecturing. Sounds like you're describing the desolate stretch in the mountains of slopes north of Twin Elms, site of an old battle from the War of the Black Trees. I've seen the next location.
I'll follow you. I always get a strange feeling near the end of a hunt. Like an itch on the end of my nose. I feel like we're close.
Are you disappointed?
Not at all. After all this time. A part of me had already accepted that I'd never find him. That I'd be stuck, wandering like this forever. I'll admit, I didn't believe you at first. Still didn't until now.
What changed?
I haven't spent this much time around anyone since the long hunts in Nasitok. But I've gotten to know you.
Nasitaki
Seen
Phil.
how you deal with Kith. Whatever else you turn out to be when we find Theos, you're honest. I know you wouldn't lead me astray in this.
What I mean is, thanks. No one's done this much for me in a very long time. Feels almost like I'm part of a village again. What will you do after this is over?
Good question.
After 5 years, I'm not sure what the point of this is. Persoc has moved on, and while I'm out here, everyone in Masuk is carrying on as normal. And that'll be the case whether I come back having found Persoc or die out here. To be honest, I'm not sure what that means for me. She thumps the Adra wall with the heel of her hand, but I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we've got to find Persoc, as well as your quarry, Ponteric. Should give me time to figure out what I'll say to him. What do you think you'll tell Persoc?
I guess that depends on who he is now. I'd like to think that traveling for 5 years entitles me to give him a solid earful about all of it. But what really matters to someone in Persoc's position? The village he left behind? The family he likely won't remember?
If I'd accomplished as much as Persoc, I'd want to hear about it.
I hadn't thought of it that way. Who knows? When we find Theos, maybe you'll get your wish.
Anyway, here's to finding our men soon. Let's talk about something else. Let's move on. Okay, so we did the cave, we did the arch. Let's check out these Adra pillars. I don't know why they're significant. They're they've gone so far as to mark it on a map. There's nothing to interact with that I could tell. Oh well. Let's see what's on this little island over here.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
This is weird. Looks like sun should be there, but it isn't. Alright, let's go down here.
Anyone suspected of treachery must be reported at once. Good, you have come. You have heard of the recent defections from our order caused by this apostate in Praetum.
An answer floats to the surface of your consciousness, remembered from ages ago. Yes, I have.
This is a dangerous woman whose lies spread like plague. She inspires chaos, sows conflict. Because of these unusual circumstances, I am speaking to all our initiates personally to ensure there is no more dissension.
You mean because she was one of us?
Who she was no longer matters. If her following continues to grow, there will be war, and all our work will be undone. You were recruited from Praetum, were you not? You must have known this heretic woman, Yavara.
She was my mentor.
I pray her old teachings were less blasphemous than the new. Was it worthwhile, this mentorship?
I learned to be strong in my convictions.
Indeed. If she had held true to hers, we wouldn't be in this position. I am trusting you to remain loyal to the gods in this. If you do not, you will have greater powers than me to answer to. But you will answer to me as well.
I understand, Your Eminence. Interesting. Boars! Elder boars! Oh, I can go to Hearthsong now. Alright, let's go to that top bridge. Antelope. Where the antelopes play. Still can only go to Hearthsong. A Stelgar.
Will they made of? I have them!
Let's go!
I have them!
Please help me. I will help you, sir. For a price. Please help me, it's so cold. Dying monk. The man on the ground gasps for air, clutching his chest as he struggles. On closer examination, you see his red cloak obscures the full extent of his injuries. His face whitens as blood pools around him. Please, traveler. He reaches out, arduously extending his hand to you. Help the man get to his feet. No, he moans, slumping out of your grip. Do not trouble yourself. This body is a ruined shell, but my soul will live on. That is all that matters. What happened? Forgetful, so careless, he mutters, blood seeping from his lips. Cuts on my knuckles from morning's practice. He holds his blood-soaked hands out in front of him. The Stelgars, they smelled the blood on me, thought they found their next meal. The man reaches down to clutch his left leg, his finger running along a jagged length of bone protruding from his knee. They were almost correct. The man lets out a long sigh and smiles at you with a slow, knowing nod. You are known to us, Watcher. We know you have treated others honestly, fairly. His face becomes pale and lapses into a wide smile. And I have need of someone trustworthy to finish my mission. Tell me of your mission. This must be delivered to my order. The monk weakly grasps for his satchel, drawn from it a messenger's scroll case. Take it, he rasps, waving the missive at you. It needs to be carried to the celestial sapling. Give this to my brothers. They will reward you. Do not open it, his cries out, his voice cracking. The contents for my brothers only. If the seal is broken, they will... Blood erupts from the man's mouth, streams of red oozing down his neck. His head slumps backwards and his body goes still. Examine the scroll case. The scroll case is crafted of darkly stained oak in the likeness of a thin tower. Along its length, 5 wax seals adorn the case, each with its own symbol. A small flame, an open palm, a crescent moon, a shining sun, and a balanced scale. The seals would more than likely break if you were to try and open the case. Stow it in my pack. I'm honest. You place the scroll case in your pack and venture onward. Okay, so... cleared out all this area. So, can't go back to there yet. Still have that to do. Nothing's really calling me. I still have a quest about a scroll case somewhere near Deerford. But let's just go to Hearthsong. 12 hours, alright. Total wages paid, 450 copper pand. Not a problem. Travel to Twin Elms. Search Twin Elms for signs of Theos. Estremor, still.
Tread carefully, Estremor.
Another fugitive from the burning city? The 6 tribes of Erglanfoth welcome you to Twin Elms. Before you lies the Hearthsong district. You are free to explore it, but do not let your feet stray into the other districts. Those are forbidden to Estremor. What can you tell me about Twin Elms? The city is sacred to all Glanfathans, as it is the place where our ancestors first encountered the Builders. That fated meeting turned our people from generations of wandering to a permanent home among the Builders' relics. When the builders commanded us to settle here, they allowed us the unique privilege to live among their structures here. It is the only place in Eir Glanfath where this is permitted. The sacred city is divided into 4 districts. Hearthsong, the Commons District. Old Song, the site of our temples. Elm's Reach, home of Delegman and Druids. And the Burial Isle, which is the most sacred place in the city. I'd like to hear about Hearthsong. This is Hearthsong. It's a place where Glanfathans and Estromorn may gather together. Estromorn is their terminology for anybody that's not Glanfathans. It is also the site of the Passage of the Six, where our tribal leaders, the Anamfatha, meet. He points to a large round building at the other end of the district. That way is the market. Guard your purse there. No one bargains like a Glanfathan. And if you need a place to stay, follow the fence to the east. There you'll find your way to the Celestial Sapling. Which temples lie in Old Song? There is Noonfrost, which is dedicated to Rimgond. A couple of pale elves from the frozen Southlands arrived not long ago to oversee it. There is also the Nest, a temple of Hylia, and Galawain's Maw, a den of beasts dedicated to the hunter god. The route to the Burial Isle also lies that way. Tell me about Elm's Reach. There lies Ter Evron, one of the only towers of the builders still in perfect condition. 2 great elm trees twine around it. Even the mightiest works of the gods protect the works of the builders. 2 Delimgen sisters dwell there now. The Hall of Warriors stands at the other end of the district. Rumor has it that the Anamfath Simok of 3 Tusked Stelgar is there now. Elm's Reach is also where the Druids keep their halls. There are the Ovates at the Golden Grove and the Ethek Nall of Blood Sands. Many shudder at the brutal sacrifices of the Ethek Nall, but High Ovate Irona is just as powerful in her own way. My watcher friend, Hervis pipes up from behind you. I would be honored to accompany you to Elm's Reach to meet those druids, though I'm a bit wary of any circle of reputation for brutal sacrifices. Do you know anything about the Burial Isle? It is the place where our Anamfatha are laid to rest among stones placed by the boulders. They say the souls of some of the Anamfatha linger there still. The way lies through Old Song. It is the holiest place in all of Twin Elms. That's all I wanted to know about the city. Something else you wish to hear? Why is it forbidden to enter the remaining districts of Twin Elms? Twin Elms is a sacred city, built where the first keepers of the stone met the builders. It exists alongside the works of the builders, and is the only place in all of Eir Glanfath where it is permitted to set foot among these sacred places. The Estromorn, however, do not have proper respect for the stones here. His words trigger something in your memory. You see an image of a perfect cube of Adra. Just as quickly, the image fades. A leader of one of the tribes could give you the permission of the city. Only Anamfath Bethwell is present in the Passage of the Six today, and she has her own troubles. He jerks his head on a long hut in the middle of the district. You have other questions about Twin Elms? I haven't heard of the Keepers of the Stone. The oldest of the 6 tribes. He points to the tip of his sword at a long hut behind him, up the stairs and into the Passage of the Six. This is where our Anamfatha gather. Bethwell, the Anamfath of the Guided Compass, can tell you more. Who are the builders? You know them as the Ingwithians. Tell us they are the builders, creators of the sacred places that we guard to this day. I'll keep your words in mind. Best that you keep your visit brief. Word has reached our ears that the riots have ended and the gates of Defiance Bay have opened once more. Ah, that means I could go get my sword built. Excellent. So let's look at this city. Passage of the Six, Builder's Hearth, Glanfatham Home, Old Song District, Glanfatham Home, Hearthsong Market, Glanfatham Home, Celestial Sapling, Elm's Reach District, and Old Song.
So, this is Twin Elms, home to the 6 tribes of Eir Glanfath, and some very good hides from what I hear.
Okay, so where to go first? Let's go in a circle, I guess, and then we'll do the middle building last. You see a pair of muscled legs whirling through the air, knocking down 2 opponents and twisting backwards into another. The monk takes a deep breath and smoothly reverses, a brutal uppercut disabling a 4th combatant, and a leg sweep marking his victory as the 5th falls to the ground. He's a blur of action as he vaults over a wall and dives smoothly into an open window. The room is empty. He centers himself and continues knocking one guard unconscious after another. The only sounds of his passing are the grunts and moans of the injured and incapacitated. There are no deaths tonight. He makes his way through the building, single-minded, towards a central room, taking out another 2 guards with a motionless invasion of their minds, a skill half remembered from another lifetime. He enters the room. The wisp of a man inside bows, his smile mocking, and disappears. A projection, nothing more. The monk bows back and leaves back the way he came. You hear it before you see it. A scream rends its way through the air as what was once a woman falls to the ground, a mess of blood and bone. Another falls to the right, paralyzed by a force far beyond her control, as she is halved by a magical blade. Above, 2 corpses are caught in a web, cocooned and fed upon by a bevy of giant spiders, glutting themselves on the kill. Beneath them, a man stands frozen in panic and grief, unaware of the spider descending silently down on a thick rope of webbing. He is broadsided by another man just in time, who knocks him out of the way, but is unable to avoid the spider himself. The spider snatches him up and sinks 2 fangs the size of bullhorns into him, eliciting a terrible shriek. Another man laughs, weaving his spells into a night of death and betrayal. The last man, the one who was saved, scrambles to his feet and runs, throat coarse from screaming, eyes shot with panic and tears. He looks over his shoulder, his eyes lingering on a woman's torso, unrecognizable in death, a ring on his fingers matching one on his. Then he turns back toward the exit and does not look back again. The water's cool and crisp. Why is this here? She'll pay, that witch. She'll, fuming with anger and pacing in tiny circles. The valiant merchant aims his wild brand at you as you approach. You there! Have you come here to trade with the savages? Learn from my example and take your business elsewhere. Spittle accents is every sense. Liars, cheats, swindlers! That duplicitous bitch, Alari, she claimed to be selling Allard Gola flower buds, but all I have now is 6 bushels of common houseplants. The herbs are useless. He throws a handful of dried plants to the ground, stomping on the brittle stems and leaves, kicking up pungent, savory scents. I'll get my money back from that swindling savage. What is Allard Gola? Renato's rage abates for a moment, his face twists into a nervous smile. Allard Gola is a plant that grows in the jungles of Eir Glanfath. He clears his throat, lowering his voice. When dried and consumed or brewed into a tea, it's known to enhance one's drive for the better pleasures in life. Oh, it's a Viagra drink. You tested the remedy on yourself? Well, Renato fidgets in place, his hand smoothly the creases in his tunic. How can I sell a remedy I have not tested? Of course I tried the herb. Imagine what would have happened if I peddled this pale imitation. Renato clears his throat, his voice grows quiet. The herb did not have its intended effect. The only thing it made hard was not vomiting. What did Alari say when you confronted her? Nothing of substance, he quickly mutters. She defended herself, of course, saying the herbs were legitimate. Why wouldn't she lie? No one will value my word over hers. He spits on the ground. Alari can lie with impunity when surrounded by her gangs of savage thugs. What do you intend to do about this? When I get my hands on Renato halts a sentence, his eyes darting about at the nearby Glenfathen guards. I'm in the savage's home court, so it's my word against hers. Where does that leave me? I'd be a fool to threaten her hair on tribal soil. He sighs, pressing on his temples. I cannot sell this worthless herb to recover my coin, and I am powerless to confront Alari. I don't suppose, he looks at you, sizing you up, if you were willing to mediate, perhaps you could succeed where I failed. I would, of course, pay you handsomely for your troubles. Let me see what you have for sale. Renato looks away from you, scratching his neck and shifting his feet. I am destitute and have but a few meager offerings left to sell. How dreadfully embarrassing. If I can recover my investment from Alari, I'll have funds to resupply my stores. Until then, you're welcome to take a look at what I still have in stock. No campfires, unfortunately. Talk to Alari in the Hearthsong Market.
Gods keep you.
The Celestial Sapling. The pillars and struts disappear into the branches of a massive metal more than 100 feet overhead. You want up? I pull. Okay, so I've explored all that area, explored around this. Let's take a look at this Glenfathen home. I can't unlock it. Okay. The guard places a spear between you and the path that leads beyond the gates. Still, Estremor, the rest of the city is forbidden except by order of one of the Anam Fatha. Trespassing in Twin Elms is punishable by death. How do I get permission from one of the Anam Fatha? He grudgingly points to a long hut in the middle of the district. You can always find one of the Anam Fatha in the Passage of the Six. Perhaps Anamanfath Bethwell will listen if she can tolerate your barbaric language. Luminal space is added. The quest expires in 2 days. The valiant animancer Akeda, known for her extensive work into the properties of Living Adra, caused a huge stir in Bia Gepi when she claimed to her colleagues that she believed all Living Adra is interconnected within the heart of Aora itself. The claim alone was not that scandalous, but Akeda boasted that she had created a device that allowed her to physically travel along the pathways of Living Adra down towards their source. The things she claimed to see caused an uproar among some of the more religious animancers, many of whom found the statements blasphemous. A few days later, Akeda was nowhere to be found and her home had been thoroughly sacked. Some fear that she was killed for her boasts. Others fear that her statements were pure fact, that Akeda escaped the wrath of her colleagues by using her invention to permanently step into the between. So let's send the Grieving Mother. She's mysterious. That'll go well. nobody's looking, so it's not stealing. Pardon me. They're also going to block my way. Yes. Okay, so Lorelei Rosethorn, another soul. Turns out these soul conversations are, you know, little snippets written by the Kickstarter backers, from what I hear as well. You see a ragged child, oil lamp in hand, making her way down an alleyway. Mud-encrusted socks on small, numb feet push forward, despite the cold. She has eyes only for the barn ahead and the soft hay inside. She fumbles with the lock, hairpin in hand. Despite the cold, she unlocks the door with expert fingers and slips her gaunt frame inside. Somewhere between closing the door and falling to the floor, the lamp slips from her grasp. The flames try the hay tentatively and find it to their liking, reaching faster, further. The girl screams. Outside, a woman whips through the streets, chasing shouts and smoke. Her hands are moving before she sees the flames, and from her fingertips erupt 3 near-invisible missiles of force. They shatter the barn door, but fire delights in company, and roars larger in response. The screaming has stopped. Skinning herself in iron, the woman mutters a prayer and pushes forward into the inferno. The fire screeches, starving, and she responds with fury and frost and hail. She will not be swayed, and the fire is defeated. The child is weak, chest dry and searing with smoke, but alive. The woman carries her out to cheers and applause as molten sweat dribbles down her silver face. Hearth Song. Okay, I can go in here. This is Hearth Song Market. There should be campfires here. I hope. Down to 1 campfire. For a second. Just had to adjust my mic. More soul conversations. You see a child, a heavy chain running from her wrist to the wall, scrubbing at a kitchen tile with deliberate slowness. The stain is dark and heavy, but she scrubs for hours, failing to notice the passage of time, failing to greet the moon as it rises. Her small face is hard and dry as she scrubs. When she is done, the kitchen is raw and fresh, ready for a new day. But she is not done yet. Trembling, she approaches the body in the corner. The whites of her eyes grow ever larger as she reaches into a pocket, grasping for freedom, and finding it in the form of a key. She does not notice the blood smeared on her blouse, or the stares of the town people as she runs toward the shoreline and the docks in the distance. You see a band of elves tread warily through the undergrowth, hands tied on weapons, eyes locked on the forest floor. They move silently, fluidly, a teen practiced in the art of the hunt. A distant thud sends birds panicking into the sky, and the group changes course towards the source of the sound. In the lead, a tightly strung bowman scouts. So alert he trembles. Vaulting over an exposed root, he holds a hand in the air and the group pauses, taking cover behind time-gnarled trunks. There's a moment of stillness before the forest itself rises up to greet them. The creature is enormous, twice the size of any elf, and its endless-seeming arms of vine snap towards its assailants, snatched at ankles, arms, legs. One elf goes down and is thrown into one of the trees with a rending crack. Another slips, jumping to avoid the snake-like vines, and before he can react, a vine is around his waist. The air is blurred with arrows as the lead bowman lets loose, giving his companions time to recover. An unearthly howl sounds as a rapier slices through one of the creature's arms, incapacitating it momentarily. Taking his chance, the bowman switches arrows, lighting the wet shafts with slick blue fire. The monstrous mass of vines screeches as the flames take their toll, lashing out at any and all who come near. 2 elves lie unconscious on the ground, another dead, an enormous dent in his skull. The creature falls, finally, but there are no cheers, no celebration. The group is somber as they collect their dead and wounded. Task updated. Hard bargain. Let's take a look at that. Talk to Alari and her... Oh, that task. Reinette.
Hail, Estremor.
You have the look of a hunter, Estremor. Derwin's weapons may protect the man who seek out misfortune, but my supplies will help you survive out in the wilds. Let me see your wares, good sir. Reinette nods, gesturing to his goods with a sweep of his arm. Camping supplies, yes. The musk of strange roots and herbs pervade these shelves. The young girl looks about the market with a disinterested gaze. As she nears, she snaps to attention and straightens her posture. "Welcome, Estremor," she says with a curtsy. "Alari's not here, so I'm running the shop while she's away." She glides her hands in front of the display cases of poultices and remedies. "If you're looking for herbs, tinctures, oils, or ointments, then I've got everything you'll ever need. Please show me wares." Her smile widens at your request. "Of course, have a look." "I'm looking for Alari. Where might I find her?" "She lives not far from here." The little girl points at the exit out of the market. "Climb up the stairs. At the top there's a circle of ruins. Do you know it? It's on the north side of Hearthsong. Anyways, her house is right there. The door faces those ruins." "Well, thank you."
Hail, Estremor.
"Some food for your travels? I hold here many delicious cheeses and fresh fruit. Let's see what you have." He also sells camping supplies.
Estremor.
"Tell me about your trade." My life is simple and makes a poor tale. I tend the gardens and my herd, and my family picks this delicious fruit you see behind me. The gods have been kind. Farewell." Ripe and juicy, the fruits give slightly under your thumb.
Hail,
Estremor.
This thick-framed woman smiles broadly as you approach. Ah, I see that you heard it. A good blade has a voice, and it sings to its wielder. What weapon called you forward? Tell me about your craft. My weapons speak for themselves, and every man and woman in this market knows my worth. Even that Tamara. I bear the knowledge my father held, and his mother before him. Take up one of my blades, and you'll hold a weapon 5 generations in the making. Durin snorts. They say I should not waste such fine weapons on Estremorn. I say a good weapon lying on a rack is the true waste.
Hail, Estremor.
Let me see your wares. Fine weapons indeed.
Many blessings, traveler.
Tamara. This tall woman is clad in furred hides. She settles a sharp, dark-eyed gaze on you. I hold here the best hides in Air Glanfath. Hides so thick the Stalgar cannot claw through. Boots so supple they will smother the sound of your steps. What's your trade? I bear it on my skin. I sell hides from every one of Galwain's beasts. Estremorn come from every village to see them, and know us for great hunters. Every hide bears the tale of a great hunt, and our traders bear them in turn to every corner of our lands. May I see your wares? Then here, look upon the bounty our hunters have provided us. Exceptional hide armor. A heavy, oily scent emanates from the hides. You see an Orlan man crouching over a half-drawn map, intently shading line by careful line. The notes he works from smell of salt and sea. Water-smudged scribbles bracing a mess of illustrations and measurements. He finishes each stroke with precision before moving to the next. Slow, deliberate. Nothing out of place. A bell tolls lightly in the distance, and he pauses, replacing the quill with the dagger he slides into his belt. Opening the door into his shop, he assumes a smile and engages his customer, an older dwarf with a gray-stained beard. The dwarf inquires about a few items, trying on a few pieces of armor, a pair of bracers, but nothing seems to garner his interest. With a harumph, the dwarf leaves, a little too hurried, a little too nervous. The shopkeeper grunts, taking a crossbow down from the wall and locking the door behind him. Beneath the tolling bell, the impact of the crossbow bolt barely makes a sound as it stops the thief in his tracks. The shopkeeper strolls over to the wailing man, unconcerned as he rifles through his pockets. A potion there, a pouch of silver coins, several scrolls. He had done well, just not well enough. Alright. Done with the marketplace. So let's go find Alira, whatever her name is, for the quest. Well, let's go up here first, see if there's anything up here. Nope. Let's go up the stairs then. We'll go up these stairs, explore here, work our way up and down here, and then go in here. Pumpkin the Quarg, an orange tabby cat. The tabby cat snaps out of its placid stupor as you approach. It opens its wide eyes, following you every step before trying to your side to rub against your leg. Hey, a new pet. Alright. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Reach out for the soul. You see an enormous mane of wild orange hair belonging to a burly man, his expression slightly worried in the small, candlelit room. Across from him sits a portly woman with a third eye painted on her forehead. She gazes at him and clucks her tongue, standing him upright. He's a clear head and half taller than her, but it is she who commands the room. She closes her eyes, her hand on his chest, and speaks. She sees a small gray creature darting from place to place, running, escaping. She's chasing it, 4 legs bounding, jumping across the room frantically. When she laughs, opening her eyes and withdrawing her hand. Immediately guilty, she apologizes, avoiding his eyes. He demands to know what's wrong with him, what's causing his strange behavior. Before you were born, your soul split, child, she explains, fighting a smile. While half went to you, the other half seems to have become rather feline in nature. He rocks back, expression after expression pounding his face. His mouth opens and closes for several moments before he bows his head, the edges of a smile playing around his mouth as well. Suddenly he begins to laugh, doubling over, tears streaming down his face. Composing himself, he thanks her and leaves, the mystery solved. A kitty. A new kitty? It's a Redbeard kitty. I had a cat that looked like this named Redbeard before it passed away. Now I've got a Redbeard in game. Yay! Let's go down here. Make sure there's no herbs or anything. I already talked to her. She's a soul conversation. Let's go up this way. Pedestal shadow creeps around the dais. The dais. Yes, I know, sir. Thank you. Two Glothenfathen's home. One of them's going to be for the merchant. Hard bargain. Spread across a lumpy pallet of straw, the hide blankets are surprisingly soft. This looks like a trap. Why do I get the feeling it's a trap? It's a trap! An old elven woman stands tall and proud, surrounded by Glothenfathen warriors that study your every move. You speak on Renato's behalf, I presume. I knew he would convince someone to do his bidding. I did not suspect it would be the Estermore involved in all the chaos at Defiance Bay. She tilts her head to the side and blinks slowly. Does the presence of my armed entourage concern you? You were expecting a defenseless shopkeeper, am I right? Alari raises her dye-stained hand just as one of her guards begins to lurch forward. Stillness, she barks at her attendant. Give the Estermore a chance to speak. We're not dear wooden beasts. Here, hospitality reigns. Alari nods to you, holding up an open hand, her palm and fingers covered in blue and green dye. Envoy of the Valiant, speak the message you were sent to deliver. I want to hear your side of the story. The first step of any sensible path, she muses, scratching her chin. Renato did purchase from me several bushels of Erlard Gola, and for it he paid a high price, but did so willingly, saying it was a bargain right as he handed me his copper. It was after our trade that the Valiant spit his venom. Alari's voice grows angry. Renato accused me of trickery, of fraud, claiming I'd delivered withered likeness of Erlard Gola and not the genuine root. Such nerve, for in truth he is beyond the help of Erlard Gola. She holds a blue-dyed finger in the air before curling it down slowly, smiling as she does. Renato's old bow isn't firm enough for a full draw. No amount of Erlard Gola will give him the spirit of a young hunter. A fair deal is made, and now Renato objects, angry that his withered family plow is beyond herbal remedies. She shakes her head, her voice becoming a growl. I have never sold anyone a remedy I knew to be false. If Renato does not silence his slanderous tongue, we will do it for him. What kind of punishment do you have in mind for Renato? Renato has slandered his host, making him no longer a guest. The merchant must vanish from Twin Elms. She crosses her arm under the sleeves of her robe. But Glenfathan hospitality must be observed always. He is to be given a chance to leave on his feet before he bleeds on his back. Deliver in our name a warning. Tell Renato that if he does not leave, he will be accused of conspiring to pilfer Ingwithian relics from our lands. He won't risk a trial by the Council of Anamfatha. Alari draws a small wooden cage from the folds of her robes. If he won't listen, tell him that his faulty member will end in a cage, just like this black beetle, food for our birds. I'll deliver the message. Alari nods at you. Return to me when the Valiant has disappeared from Twin Elms. The dried herbs crunch between your fingers, giving off a sweet floral aroma. So now we've been everywhere except for the central building. And I can also go to the Celestial Sapling, apparently. So I'll probably do those two things. Or I'll probably do that before I go to the central building. Seeds and husks have been scattered across the floor.
On the hunt.
The edge of a shelf is daubed with bird lime.
Builder's wisdom to you.
Welcome to my home, Estermore. I am Lindsay, healer and guide. What brings you here? Tell me about yourself. The locals have called me a wise woman, a term of respect, I'm sure, but it makes me feel my years. I am an herbalist and healer. I spend most of my time caring for the ill, helping with the delivery of children, and making remedies for those in pain. I like your songbird. Does it have a name? Well, he does, she blushes, but I ought not to have let my friend's daughter name him. The name is long and rather silly. The short version is Beaker. She rolls her eyes and smiles. The next bird I have will be named after an Anamfath. Alright, I should be going. Okay, so let's go talk to that merchant. I'm gonna piss somebody off. I'd rather piss him off than people from the host area. That's just good logic. The stones have been worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain.
Greetings.
Renato smiles broadly and throws his arms in the air at your arrival. My friend, welcome back. Have you recovered my coin? Alari gave me this beetle in a cage for you. She said your problem would end in the same place if you continue your stay in Twin Elms. Renato's face turns bright at the sight of the gift. Insufferable witch. She could shove that beetle in her fetid mating hole. Gesticulating with every word, split flies from Renato's mouth as his voice grows louder. Her and her face-painted thugs will pay for this insult. He reaches out to strike the cage out from your hands. Constitution 13 and Stoic. Ignore Renato's feeble attack. You step into Renato's punch. The merchant fist strikes your solid body with the cracking of finger bones. Madicho, the valiant merchant shouts at the top of his lungs. Savage, filthy animals, this damn city will burn. You hear a whistling sound from nearby. I'll kill you. Renato's voice gurgles mid-sentence. The tip of an arrow, gleaming red, protrudes from his throat. The merchant quivers in a quick spasm, flail in his arms. He drops to his knees, spurts of blood flowing down his chest. You look up and notice the Glonfoth and Archer approaching the scene. It's not our custom to tolerate squabbles between Estremorn. The huntress begins to turn around, but her face lingers in your direction. A faint semblance of a smile crosses her lips. I'm sure you understand. Before you can reply, she walks away, moving with confident strides. Renato's arms twitch a final spasm as the merchant expires in a bloody, crumpled heap. Well, you just run that risk if you misbehave. Let's turn the quest in. You are welcome into our hearth. What news do you bring? Renato won't trouble you anymore. He's dead. Dead? Alari's eyebrow raises. Her posture stiffens. I'm not surprised, given his behavior thus far, but the death of a valiant merchant could bode poorly for trade. Reaching into her robes, Alari produces a small pouch. Still, the matter is settled, and Renato will no longer darken our market. Here's your payment for services rendered. Travel safely, Estremor. One more task done. So, let us go to the Celestial Sapling. And then we will go to the center building to try and get access to the other districts of Twin Elms.
Huh?
Let's go up to the Celestial Sapling. Carry me up, ogre. Moving on up to the east side, to the deluxe sapling in the sky. Alright.
Sure.
Estremor, welcome. Behave, be merry. More soul guys, I bet. You see a man, his eyes hidden behind horn-like growths, his face broken in despair. His frantic pacing distracts another man who curses and begins his chant again. The body of a woman lies on the table below, all slack white skin, punctured chest, and rounded belly. Life left her body days ago, but the man chants over her husk, spell after oddly rolling spell, until sweat burns through his lashes onto his chin. For a moment, her eggshell eyes open, cold and void. The pacing ceases. Her body falls back to the table with a crack, unmoving, and the broken man weeps tears black from his misshapen face. The men leave. Time passes. The body screams until morning. You see a woman of fire, twisting and dancing through a horde of skeletal enemies. Arrows stream through the air, but with a twist of her wrist, she sends a sheet of fire careening towards the offending archers, incinerating all in its path. She screams, concentration lost as a pike pierces her leg and forces her to the ground. As the skeletons advance, she begins to burn brighter, hotter, chanting something between gritted teeth. She flickers out for a moment, the fire contracting, and then waves of white fire explode from her, destroying everything in their path. The only thing left is the sound of her panting and a pained grunt as she twists the pike from her leg and plants it in the ground to support herself as she gets up. She turns to leave, limping slowly towards the door, but something stops her. A guttural, inhuman whisper weaves its way through the air as a final figure rises into the air before her, claiming her, beckoning. Against her will, she is drawn forward, nose filled with the reek of death and dust. Her face is glazed, unresponsive. She falls at the creature's feet, and something in her comes awake. Eyes burn, and she stands once more and stretches out a hand, stroking the skeleton's ivory cheek, turning bone to cinder and ash. She stands there long after it is gone, ashes blown in some spectral breeze. Something had laid claim to her, and this was not the end of it. This man looks up sharply as you approach, eyes going wide. You're the one he's looking for, he sets down his wine. You killed Lord Raedric. What if I did? No, you don't understand. It didn't work. I'm one of the guards at the keep. Was one of the guards. He's killed most of them, the ones you didn't. Kolsk, he didn't last very long. Nothing but empty air, him. Nice enough to work for, I mean. Much nicer. But that didn't help him when Raedric came back. God's the screaming. His eyes, it was like he was burning inside. He shudders. He says he's come back to lead us like before. Says he's going to kill you for what you've done. I told him I'd find you, give you his challenge. Do it all honorable, that sort of thing. He let me go, and I kept on running far as my coin let me. He laughs bleakly. Funny, me running into you anyhow. And what's your stake in all this? What? Nothing. I don't mean to go back there as long as I live. I figure I'll find work here in Twin Elms somewhere, even if I have to guard some hut dwellers' goats or something. Until then, I plan to drink until I don't remember any of what happened. Good luck to you. There's something awful out there howling after your blood. The unusual stone pulses with warmth. You see a man browsing through some goods at a stall near the edge of a busy marketplace. This elf is standing against the side of a building nearby, seeming to look off into the distance. Although she gives the appearance of calmness, even nonchalance, her eyes are locked on the man across the street from her. Her gaze never wavers, never leaves him. He finishes browsing and wanders down the street, looking from side to side. She waits for him to almost get lost in the crowd, then pushes away from the wall and follows him, always keeping him in sight, but never getting close enough to be seen. Eventually, he turns down a side street, walking to an opulent residence with a private entrance. She approaches cautiously, watching him as he undoes a series of mystical locks on the door. When he finishes and the door swings open, she steps forward. At the sound, he turns to face her. She looks him in the eyes, and there's an almost imperceptible flash in her gaze. And suddenly he is standing rigid, his eyes glazed. She smiles, extends her hand in greeting, and looks into his house. He takes her hand like someone in a trance, blank face, never registering recognition. I can't wait to see all the goods you're going to give me, she says conversationally, and guides him into the house, glancing over her shoulder to ensure no one is watching them. Okay, so it looks like there's a path up here. Let's go up here and look.
Good day, stranger.
The monk massages his temples, his face buried in his palm. As you approach, he looks up, This room needs a proper dory, mothers. My brothers and I rented this space that we may have some measure of privacy in this foreign land. Perhaps you could find another room here in the inn. Who are you? Briefly opening his mouth to answer, the monk swallows his words. He looks you up and down, carefully choosing his response. My brothers and I were having a private discussion in a room we rented for our use. Please, there's a tavern full of people who would provide you with the banter you seek. I met another monk in robes like your own. He died of his wounds right as I found him. The monk's eyes widen, his fists curl in a crackling barrage of popping joints. Robes like ours, you say? Was he carrying anything? Did he tell you anything? Hand you anything? Please, we've been waiting for another of our order to meet us here. And if you found him... All eyes fall to the floor as the monks begin to whisper chants in unison to their fallen friends. Show him the message. He gave me this missive. Hand me that, the monk exclaims as he snatches the missive from your grasp. Almost immediately, his face turns red. I mean, please. This is of great importance. Breaking the seals, the monk unrolls the handwritten scroll contained within and quickly reads the message, his lips breathlessly mouthing the text. He turns to address his brothers. My brethren, the Arch-Martyr has sent word. At long last, the Arch-Martyr has sent word. At long last, we now have what we need. Thank you, stranger, the monk says, folding his hands in front of him as he bows deeply. Your honest soul is to be applauded. I admit I was surprised. When you handed me the message, I expected the seals to be broken. The monk turns red, his face smiling for the first time. I'm glad to see common decency is not yet lost from this world. He reaches into the fold of his robes. Here, your honesty must be rewarded. Twin Elms moderate positive. Another task completed. Taxes collected, alright. Bed rocks with the gentle swaying of the tree.
Good day to you.
A middle-aged elven man stands behind the counter at the inn. He has a warm, open face and smiles pleasantly in greeting as you approach. Welcome, welcome. I'm always glad to see a new face. Take a seat where you like, my friend. Seems to me you've walked a long road. All are welcome here, and those with interesting stories most welcome of all. Can I see what you have for sale? Of course, we offer meals and some supplies. Have a look.
Greetings.
Who are you? My name is Eleutherion. They call me Haggard Shoes for all the walking I used to do and all the boots I wore down. But those days are well behind me. My eyes have seen a great deal, and now my ears get their fill from the travelers who come through here. A fine way to spend one's days, to my thinking. I'm always glad to see a new face. Take a seat where you like, my friend. It seems to be you've walked a long road. All are welcome here, and those with interesting stories most welcome of all. Tell me about this place. Of course, Eleutherian's face brightens. I founded the inn many years ago, but in many ways its tale begins much earlier. It was while I was returning from a long journey south that I first heard the story of the tree upon which this inn rests. Hundreds of years ago, a strange event occurred. The sky was troubled that night, with many stars falling across the sky, and one of those same stars began to plummet instead towards Eora. It fell here, striking a young tree and burying itself within it like a fiery heart. But the tree survived, and over the years it grew, and grew and grew, twice as big as its fellows in half the time, until it reached the size you see now, and grew no more. Hearing the tale, I knew I must find the truth, and you see it there. He gestured towards the large stone in the center of the room. Around the tree's heart, I built this inn to welcome all travelers who might look upon it. Kind of looks over at the stone and grins. A fine story. I'll carry that one home. I'd like a room, please. Let's do the 200 copper piece room. Alright, let's see what's up over this way.
Good day to you.
The slender woman in dusty leathers locks eyes with you. It's good to see someone from more civilized lands around here. Her unkempt hair sprouts in wavy black tufts. Despite the fine features that sculpt her face, a cleft chin completes her boyish appearance. I'm learning firsthand the many shortcomings of Glanfathan hospitality. Her gloved hands come to rest on the palm of a long estoc cinched low on her hip. I can almost forgive the hostility towards outsiders, but the temperate taverns and these watered-down drinks, inexcusable. I hope I don't seem too forward, but I need to help my friends, and you look like the right person for the job. A sly smile carves a dimple on her cheek. Which is to say, you're not Glanfathan, making you the closest thing I've got to an ally in this paranoid land. She gives you a coquettish sideways glance. And allies, well, they help each other, do they not? Who are you? The woman passes the dust off her leggings and gives you an exaggerated curtsy. Where did I leave my ambassadorial manners? She flashes a mocking smile. I am Swyneth. Quineth? Swyneth? Quineth. Let's go with Quineth. Pleasure to meet you. She lifts an eyebrow with a blushing smirk. For the time being, though, I'm just another Estermore minding her own business. What help do you need? My friends have drawn some unwanted attention. Quineth looks to both sides, scanning for uninvited listeners. Glanfathan scouts, and not just any mob of local zealots, the Fangs. She pauses to let the name settle in the air. The Fangs are a brutal, relentless bunch, eager to make an example of troublesome outsiders. As for why I need your help, her smile widens as she speaks. I need someone to warn the expedition that trouble is coming, and I need someone ready to fight if it comes to that. She taps her hand on the pommel of her estoc. With any luck, we'll reach my friends before the Fangs do. But if not, the Fangs have a reputation to uphold, so this might require spilling blood. Why aren't you with the rest of your friends? Why not warn them yourself? Her posture stiffens at the question. It was my turn to handle Far Patrol. I spotted the Fangs on my trek back to camp. I knew that rejoining the main group would risk leading the enemy right back to the expedition. I know the woods and I know how to stay quiet, but I didn't want to stake my friends' lives on my ability to sneak past expert hunters like the Fangs. If they noticed me warning my friends, we'd have been overrun. Quineth tilts her head to the side and points it to you with a grin. But if they noticed me and some reinforcements like, say, you, well, at least then we could scare them off or put up a good fight. What did your friends do to draw the attention of the Fangs? Just setting foot in Air Glanfathan is a good way to offend the tribes. I don't know how they picked up our trail. I suspect one of our newer scouts didn't cover his tracks well enough. When I spotted the Fangs, they were retracing a path the expedition had taken days before. Tell me more about your expedition. I like to think we're on a mission of reclamation. Quineth darts a shrewd smile. It is said that our armies left behind many valuables in their hasty retreat from Air Glanfathan at the end of the War of the Black Trees. So the way I see it, we're simply gathering up what our ancestors left behind. I thought the Glanfathans agree with me on this, she adds with a dimpled grin. My expedition set out from Defiance Bay, heading directly east, crossed into Glanfathan lands. I split off once we arrived at the Bale, the natural frontier between our nations. The plan was for me to keep my eyes on the Glanfathans while the main group scoured the target area. For days we eluded them. She walks her fingers over the back of her leather glove, leaving a trail on its dusty surface. But the Fangs got wise to our presence. Your friends are trespassing. By local custom, they're criminals. Quineth frowns and blinks at you several times. You'll forgive me if I'm not sympathetic with face painters and their barbaric laws. I'm not pretending that what we're doing is noble. I just don't believe trespassing is a crime that warrants execution. I'll help you warn the expedition. Quineth smiles with an overt display of dimples. Excellent. I knew I could count on you. She leans in and whispers. Assuming the Fangs didn't already get them, my friends should now be at or around the Pilgrim's Trail in the Northweald. The plan was to camp along a trail leading to a temple of Hylia. Find my comrades, warn them the Fangs are coming, and help them clear out of the forest. I'll head out first on my own to see if I can't lead the Fangs astray and buy some time. She pulls her estoc a few inches out of its scabbard and cracks a smile. If the gods smile on us, we won't have to draw steel. Should it come to that, I'm glad you're on our side. Not sure if this is going to be acceptable or not, so let's just save our game.
I'll give it a try, at least. As requested.
It's only a topaz, nothing big.
Yeah.
You see a young red-headed boy, almost but not quite a man, stalking the steps of a panther, an ugly curved dagger in his hand. The panther treads lightly, jumping from rock to rock, unconcerned by the danger behind him. He bounds up a tree and turns his green slit eyes on the child, and you could swear he would be laughing if he could. A flash of black fur and the panther is gone, and the boy's thoughts littered with curses and self-doubt. The boy moves on, walking for days, hunting for something he never seems to find. He sleeps only in fits, a few hours at a time, before he continues, exhausted and starving. Another day passes, and he kills a rabbit, its huge brown eyes almost entranced, as the boy slits its throat from ear to ear and begins to eat it raw. He winces as the tough meat goes down, coagulated blood running down his chin. Covered in drying blood and fatigue, he falls asleep beneath a nearby outcropping of rock, determined to continue the hunt when he awakes. He does not have to wait long. A snuffling in the undergrowth nearby, and his eyes are instantly open, a small hand on his blade. The great black bear sizes him up, almost triple his size, and goes back to foraging. The boy grasps his dagger, knuckles white and breath in short, nervous gasps. It takes almost a full day before it is done, and he collapses, arms dangling limply from his side. He calls hoarsely, voice feeble. 3 men come out from behind the outcropping, swollen with pride. No longer a boy, the young man begins to skin the bear for their help.
Right.
Alright, Central House it is. And then we're probably going to head out before we continue. Go to the stronghold to turn in the bounty quest, and go forge our sword. Let's go ahead and save our game here. The 3-tusked Stelgar. The twice split arrows.
Hail, Estermore.
What are you talking about? News from beyond, east of the Great River. The Deerwood. Fires have returned to the former city, we'd heard. Defiance Bay. Its waters run foul and dense with the stench of corpses. Not even the recent floods could wash away the stain of its corruption. A dying prey. Some see it as such among us, a chance to strike, others not so. Only a council of the Anam Father can decide what the six tribes must do, as one. Tell me more about the council of Anam Father. Anam Father lead our tribes, one for each. They speak with the spirit of our peoples, and act in our name, with our will. A council of Anam Father means the tribes commune, as one. But no common will is found just now, when the Deerwood ails like a wounded beast. Only 2 Anam Father currently shelter within Twin Elms, while the rest attend to their tribes. They must return. Too far, too consumed with duties. The Anam Father will not gather soon. Another season at least. We wait until then. Tell me about this building. The hearth of all Glanfathans, the 6 tribes. We honor our people here in this passage. Offerings are made, symbols of respect to each tribe. Goodbye. The Fisher Crane. More soul conversation. You see a small murder of crows gathered on a dirt path that cuts through some dry farmland. They follow this Orlan, who is slowly making his way down the path. They sometimes hop, sometimes fly, gliding after him, but always staying behind. Occasionally one will alight briefly on his shoulder, only to quickly take to the wing again and rejoin his kin. As he nears a small village, a crow lands on his shoulder and begins cawing excitedly. The Orlan smiles and nods as if agreeing. He takes a small crumb of bread from a pocket in his cloak and gives it to the crow, who grabs it in its beak and flies a small distance away to eat its prize in peace. Small children, drawn by the noise made by the crow, rush out to see who the approaching stranger could be. When he has a sufficient audience, the Orlan lifts both arms out at his sides, and as if they had been trained, the crows flock to him, landing on his hands and arms. They rock, cawing almost in unison, and he stands there quietly humming a lively tune. He looks at the children and begins to tell them strange facts. He tells them of the different caws a crow can make and what they mean. He tells them of the pecking order of crow kings and queens long past and the times of their reigns. He does this for some time, all the while with his arms bearing the weight of a half-dozen crows. Looks like I need a drink. At length his arms seem to tire, and he drops them again, and the crows take flight, spiraling up over his head, and then glide off in all directions, a black feathery tornado dissipating in the fading daylight. The children's delighted screams echo down the road as they run back towards town. The Orlan stands alone on the road, watching as crows disappear in the distance. Alright, let's go talk to the main people. There they are.
Another Estremor. What do you want?
Sagani leans in. Careful, this woman's young for an elder, and looking to prove herself, I think. I want to visit the other districts of Twin Elms.
There are reasons we don't let you Estremoran roam our sacred city. Reasons I am coming to understand.
Has something happened recently? More than I care to think about.
Looters have grown bolder at the sites of the builders. The people of Defiance Bay set fire to their own city. And every week, the 3 Tusk Stelgar bring news of more desperate settlers pushing at our borders, trying to escape their plague of Anolfane children.
Suddenly, you feel the presence of someone else in the hall. The Animafathan continues to glare at you, but something has stepped out of her skin. It reaches out to you.
Permitting more strangers the freedom of the city is out of the question right now. Go and be thankful that Anamfath Shimak doesn't sit in the passage of the 6 today. He would not be so kind as I.
A vision of an Orlan man appears near Bethwell. He has the same green-brown fur and hazel eyes as she does. Help me reason with them, he points behind you. Turning, you see the ghostly shapes of 5 other Animfatha, another Orlan with tawny fur and a scarred face, a frowning dwarf, a black-furred Orlan, and 2 elves. Who's that other Orlan? He looks just like you. Is this your idea of a joke? Your kind have no sense of subtlety. The spectral Orlan takes another step from her, setting his foot down with a slow, heavy motion. Tendrils of essence strain between them, and he grimaces and leans forward, as if struggling against a gale. The angry Anamfatha winces. War, the spectral Orlan's voice is a rasping cloak. They're headed for war. Remind them of Firtwell's warning. Does Firtwell's warning mean anything to you? Firtwell's soul image gasps. Taut thread of essence tug at him, drawing him back into the Anamfatha. He looks up at you again. I tried to tell them. The Builder's souls have touched even the Estromorn.
You'd better explain yourself.
The Builder's souls have touched even the Estromorn.
There's no way you could have known this saying. Not unless you are a Galuth on Anums, a watcher of souls.
Yes, I'm a watcher. That explains much.
Ferelt's warning came before the Broken Stone War. Ferelt, my ancestor on my mother's side, was Anamfatha of our tribe then. When the Estromoric farmers defiled the Builder's monuments, Ferelt urged the other Anamfatha to patience, but louder, angrier voices prevailed. Ferelt believed that the invaders could be taught to respect the Builders as we do. He also believed the Builders' souls had spread to all peoples, and that we should avoid needless conflict with others. More practically, he worried that a violent response would only spur further bloodshed across the generations, and you can see where we are today.
After 2 wars with the Dyrwood, his warning is more relevant than ever.
While Ferelt's words were shrewd, they were ignored back then. Simply remembering his warning now will not undo the wars and the changes that the years have seen. There is blood on these stones, and that is all anyone remembers now.
An image of a polished Addercube flashes into your mind. There's writing on the sides, but the image is too faint for you to read it. The Anamfatha turns away from you and looks at the ground, gnawing a pointed claw. You can't change the past, but your choices now still matter. Yes, that is the problem.
Another Estromor came through here a few days ago, and, well, letting him through was a mistake. One I am eager not to repeat. The Guided Compass tribe has a reputation for being too soft with Estromoran. One that will not be improved by my failure to stop this man, who has desecrated our most sacred sites.
Then now's the time to fix things, Rational.
I won't repeat a mistake in my haste to correct it. We bar Twin Elms from Estromoran to protect the ancient places that the Builders left behind. The Builders left this heritage to us to defend, but they alone had access to it. On this much, at least the 6 tribes agree.
You again see the polished Adra cornerstone in your mind. This time the image is clearer. Each face of the stone is inscribed with a phrase you know by heart. You feel your lips form words. A gift from the Builders of civilization to the guardians of their legacy. May the guardians watch the door while the Builders keep the key.
These were the words given to the keepers of the stone.
I know.
Very well. The city is yours to explore. Tell the guard at the gate that you come to see the cornerstone with the blessing of the Guided Compass. If the gods have truly returned one of the Builders to us, find the Delimgon of Ter Evron in Elm's Reach. If the gods have sent you here with a purpose, the Delimgon will know.
In the meantime, I shall be here to assist you. What are the 6 tribes? Glanfathan society is divided into tribes, which are further divided into clans. Each tribe is united by a particular history or way of life, and clans are communities of families that live together. In truth, there are more than 6 tribes, but the 6 largest have traditionally led the others. Each of the 6 has a seat here in the Passage of the 6, where we discuss matters of common interest. You saw, for instance, the debate that occurred before the Broken Stone War. She gives you a hesitant look. The 6 tribes are the Keeper of the Stone, Fisher Crane, Three-Tusked Stalgar, Stone Bramble, Twice Split Arrows, and of course the Guided Compass. Who are the Keepers of the Stone? They are the first and oldest of the tribes. When they first sailed to Erglanfath, they met the Builders, who gave them the cornerstone, and those words you quoted, as a token of friendship. Many of the tribes, even among the 6, look to the Keepers for guidance and leadership. Their long history grants them a place of honor in our society, though it has also made them more conservative in my observation. I'd like to hear about Fisher Crane. Mostly Orland tribe from the Thane Bog. Most of the sites they guard are half buried in the wetlands, and even the other tribes couldn't tell you where they are. She crosses her arms. They are not the most renowned of the tribes, but they are the cleverest and subtlest. Say what you will about the berserkers of Three-Tusked Stalgar, I'd rather face them than a Fisher Crane ambush squad any day. What do you know about Three-Tusked Stalgar? She laughs and shakes her head. Same as everybody. They're fearless maniacs, and they want everyone to know it. They're considered a wild bunch, even among Glanfathams. Many of their territories have seen the most conflict with the Estermorn, and they don't forget it. They don't want anyone else to, either. They inflicted and bore some of the heaviest casualties in the wars with the Estermorn. In fact, there was a rift within Three-Tusked Stalgar after the War of Black Trees. Dozens of clans broke away from the ravaged lands and retreated further into the Deerwood, joining whichever tribes would take them. Broken Tusks, some call them. The majority of the tribe dug into the half-burned forest to hold the line, and many respect them for it. She frowns uneasily. They've more than earned their place among the 6, but they advocate more conflict than is wise, and too many others are quick to idolize them for their valor in battle. Tell me about the Stone Bramble. Mostly dwarves out of the White March. They're one of the younger tribes, formed over the years by trade routes between the wilds and the mountains. They see themselves as genuinely Glanfathan, though, and who can argue with them? Only Fisher Crane defends sites in such inhospitable territory. Personally, though, I'd say it's gone to their heads. They like to think the rest of us have it easy in the lowlands, forgetting that the wars with the Estermorn never reached their mountains. Still, they came to our aid during both. They're named for a tough, thorny little plant that grows up in the mountains. It suits them. I'm not familiar with the Twice Split Arrows. Not many are. They're traditionally outcasts and exiles from other tribes. Probably the least respected tribe of them all. But our ancestors believed they should have a voice, and so they've got a seat among the 6. Most of the other tribes see them as scavengers and bottom feeders, but don't say that to a Twice Split Arrow. They think themselves survivors, and they're as proud of their tribe as anyone else, she shrugs. They'll accept anyone, and I suppose there's virtue in that. You never know what you're getting with them, though. Some clans will rob you blind, and others will slaughter a lamb for the honor of your visit. The Guided Compass is your tribe, right? Indeed. We're one of the younger tribes, and not one of the most prestigious. We tried to keep the peace with the Estermorn, which has earned us the reputation of appeasers among some of our hardline brethren in Three-Tusked Stalgar and the Keepers of the Stone. We value our heritage as Glanfathans, but we recognize that the Estermorn are here to stay. The way we see it, we could better follow our mandate to protect the place of the Builders by making peace with our neighbors. I'd like to ask about another matter. I'd like to know more about you. I'm the Anamfath of the Gilded Compass. Like many Anamfatha, I have leadership in my blood. While tribal authority is not strictly hereditary, we believe that strong leaders can impart a portion of their soul to their children and grandchildren, meaning that Anamfatha may succeed from a single line for many generations. Of course, with all that's happened here lately, I've wondered whether my family's line is coming to an end with me. Alright, so it looks like I'm done here.
You must gather your...
Yeah. I can go back to Defiance Bay now, it looks like. Do not try my patience, Estermore. You shall not pass without the permission of the Anam-Father. I come to see the cornerstone of the blessing of the guided compass. The guard scowls and looks at his companion, who nods back. He turns to you again, his knuckles whitening around the shaft of his spear. Always too cozy with the Estermore. Go then, and mind your step around the sacred stones. So I can access everywhere but Burial Isle. So let's go to Caed Nua and turn in our bounty.
Not as beautiful as the Anguithin ruins.
Really does sound like Lord of the Rings music.
Hail, traveler. Last thing in colony.
Hail, traveler!
I'm here to claim the bounty for Naloran the Wise. Ooh, smells as bad as he looked. Good work. Here's the bounty. 2,200 copper, 4,000 experience. Nice.
Huh?
Alright. Another bounty down.
Last... I'm sorry if I was a little tactless before, about your being a watcher. I didn't really understand what was involved. Is it hard, hearing the spirits all the time?
It's actually been fairly useful, Stoic. You've handled all this with remarkable calm. I'm not sure I could do the same if I were in your place. There's no denying that the dead make for excellent sources of information at times, Kanakovs. Sorry, at any rate, we're bound to find a solution for this. You can count on my help until we do. Let's go to the first fires and forge our sword. Probably I'll end up going to my tank. Depends on how good it is. Assassin.
Don't even start now!
Dead on!
Grimoire. Grimoire. Oh, what is this? Small shield.
Yeah.
There's that dragon making an appearance again. That's weird. Alright, let's get our sword forged. See if it's any good. on, Dunstan, give me a hand here. Even I didn't believe the dozens would go that far. Now we know what we're up against. Show him the pieces of the blade of the endless paths. I found all the pieces of this ancient sword. Do you think you could repair it? Aye, and 'twould be a privilege to. Not often you get to lay eyes on such fine craftsmanship. He runs a calloused finger along the edge of one of the shards. This blade will take some time, but I guarantee it'll be worth the wait. He beams. Finest work I've ever done, if I may say so. It's only a shame I can't take all the credit for it. Goodbye. Oh, it's two-handed. Yes, that means my main character can use it. Let's do Shocking Lash. Pursuing an Animancer through the solid rock of Aora proved to be a difficult task for Grieving Mother. After inquiring with various valiant cartographers and explorers, Grieving Mother was able to traverse a huge cave network in the mountains north of Golfi that traveled along several long veins of Adra. It took the help of 5 accomplished Animancers to contact Anseta, who communicated back to them through flashes of images traveling along the Adra. Unfortunately, the pulsing of the Adra alerted a particularly hostile community of Vithrak, who temporarily forced Grieving Mother and the Animancers to retreat to another part of the cavern network. Though Anseta communicated that she could not return, she suggested she was someplace new and wonderful. Images of vast, fantastic spaces filled the heads of the Animancers and Grieving Mother. Then the communication stopped. The Animancers attempted to resume contact, but after days of trying, decided it was futile. The Sangreta Ducala of Bigepi determined that Akanda's estate should be divided up among the Animancers of the city to assist them in their research. To Grieving Mother, they gave a strange and elaborate brass and Adra helm. A number of Animancers were infuriated by the Sangreta Ducala's decision, but the Duke could not be persuaded to overrule them. Nice new weapon. Quite an upgrade, too. An abandoned farm on the way to Deerwood.
With the... Notice your rotten stench.
Deerford.
Failed to notice? Hardly. I put work into smelling this way.
So it's either Woodland Plains or Stonewall Gorge. Let's check the Woodland Plains. Abandoned farm. Shouldn't be that hard. I've cleared out all the fog of war, so I should just have to look for a farm. This looks like a promising place. Oh, there they are.
Dead on!
Oh, medium armor. Let's take a look at that. Another scroll, or grimoire. Scroll of Whale. That's what I'm looking for. As you take the scroll, you hear a voice. You have found it. Now lose it again. What? You think this theft was an accident? The voice seems to shift, as if the speaker were constantly changing age, race, and sex. My relics were never meant to stay in one place for long. They are meant to be lost and found. It is the search that gives a thing value. Take it to the Black Meadow. Find the drake that faces east and bury it neath its skull.
Yeah. Huh?
Black Meadow, under a skull heading east. That's probably Wales saying not to keep it, not to return it to Grimda. This drake's skull faces east. The soil underneath is soft and moist. Bury the scroll of Whale. As you cover the ancient scroll with the last handful of soil, the shifting voice speaks in your head once more. Well done, Watcher.
Huh?
Alright, let's go turn this quest into Copper Lane. She's going to be disappointed, but that's what her god wanted. Or I assume it's her god. If not, I know where the scroll was. I could always tell her where it is, maybe.
Guide you to the path of learning for yourself. If he gave us answers, the resulting knowledge would be without value.
You never get frustrated? With all these riddles and obtuse prophecies? Just once, I'd like to get a clear answer.
And just once, I'd like to meet a woman who goes into heat at the first whiff of Stelgar urine. But that's not going to happen either.
She's not going to be happy.
Gods keep you.
I found the scroll, but Whale asked me to hide it again. She gives you a long, stern look. I'd call anyone else a liar with a story like that, but coming from you, she squints behind her thick spectacles. There's a certain logic, after all. And if you've served Whale, then you've served me too. She presents you with a folded section of fabric. Whale is both a keeper and a discoverer of secrets. May this hood aid you in revealing what is obscured and keep you hidden from those who wish you harm. You find a key in your palm. You're also free to visit the Elder Archives to take whatever books or scrolls you find in the open. Spreading and circulating new mysteries is part of our service to the obscured. Farewell. Let's see, who uses medium armor? He does. Not him. He does. He does as well. Doesn't look like anybody that can use it, really. +2 stealth, +1 perception. Let's give that to him. Okay. Let's go to the Elder Archives, see what's in there.
Laying low.
Okay, so 2 tasks left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quests. 1 expansion quest. And 1 main quest. Let's go to the stronghold. The grieving mother came back with some nice items. At least items that look decent. So let's go take a look at what those are.
Last thing... colony.
Grants ethereal cloak.
What?
Yeah.
Hey. Need something?
All right.
Yeah.
So we did some main quest stuff, cleaned up a bunch of loose ends, and now we're mostly side quests. I got 7 more of those, a couple bounties, and the main story quest. Let me see what the main story says to do. Elm's Reach. Okay.
Amazing. You could fit...
Oh, wait. What I want to do is switch out
Farewell.
Sakani for him so I can teach him, well, for one, level him up, and then teach him all these things. Let's do mirror image. Needs some defense too. And just make sure I didn't throw any accidentally in here. Just gonna make sure that these are all clear. Laggy. Last one from the stash. Okay, so let's change back to her.
Farewell.
Huh?
Alright. Zero has arrived, offering to sell you Grady's gloves for 3,200 copper pieces. He was nearly set upon by brigands on the road, but your patrols intervened. Just as I was about to leave, let's go take a look and see if it's worth buying. I've got plenty of cash, so that's not an issue. They don't look that good. I don't think so. But I think that's a good stopping point. We're pretty good on quests. We got the main quests, we got the DLC quests, and then we got some side quests, which, and then 2 bounties. So we're making good progress. Tomorrow we'll focus on the main story quest, and any side quests that we happen to stumble upon. But that's gonna be it for me for this evening. Tired, ready for some sleep. So I appreciate everybody who stopped by, and y'all have a good evening. I am out. Time to relax some. Spend some time with the significant other, watching her play Fortnite. Yay, Fortnite. Alright, y'all take it easy. See ya.